Hey, what's going on? Y'all back with another one, back with another one, with another one, with another one. All right. This is the Daily Hump Dump, the fourth, I believe it's the fourth edition, 54th edition. Let me check something real quick. Let's talk about them Knicks. Like they going to the finals, which they're not. It's gonna be it may be a 6 game series, but the NBA is carrying them. They have the easiest road, and these delusional Nick supremacists, man. I've been over at Carcino for life, man. These dudes are delusional, and they say, "Oh, they ain't cheating, bro. They ain't cheating, bro." Yeah, they are, nigga. They don't care nothing about you to get slaughtered in the West. Now, Wemby, let's talk about him a little bit. I watched the Monday game when he sent OKC to double overtime. Well, OKC went to double overtime and they tried to end the game. They struggled with the champs. I think that will be a good series. I don't think it's going to go 7 because Shea had a bad shooting night, right? We talk a little bit of sports here, every now and then. I'm just going to talk about a little bit, show how it's done. San Antonio is a threat. They're a young threat. They're a good team. They do have some inexperienced guys. Most of them are experienced except for that Cornette guy that won 2 years ago with the Celtics, and the other guy, Harrison Barnes, won in 2015. That's a long time. That's with the Warriors. I don't think people remember that. But when you notice in this playoff in 2026, right, the Western Conference Finals, I gotta say, man, OKC is a good team. They was trying to come back and beat San Antonio. Now they had them. San Antonio, when we hit that three, and some people try to say that three was a magnet ball. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it was, I won't be surprised. But man, 41 points to 24 rebounds and 6. That is some Wilt Chamberlain stat line numbers. Now, he is making a name for himself in the playoffs. Now, if he keeps this up next year, I can see the Spurs winning. I love both of these teams, by the way. I support both of them. But my thing is, I don't want to see the Spurs in the finals, man. You know what I'm saying? Any team can sweep them. But who knows? If he beats both the Cavs or the Knicks in the finals, they're tough to beat. The experience that I can say San Antonio that does have is Cornette and what's that other guy? Harrison Barnes. They're speaking to him in the locker room. Yeah, he's got his training with Akeem. He's a Zen guy, and Wemby sounds old school. And he is what the game needs. Everybody's rooting for the Spurs, and that's cool. I like the Spurs too. I love the Spurs too. That's one of my favorite Western Conference teams. Them, OKC is good. I don't care for SGA that much. I'm kind of neutral. He's good, but if he impresses me, I have to see if he's going to win 2 championships. This is a tough series. The Thunder will bounce back tonight. They might even it up or not, but I ain't going to think it's going to go 2-0. I just don't see it. Because the pressure of Wemby doing it again is going to be, they're going to figure him out. So what they have to do, they did use Caruso because he won a championship before. They're going to neutralize him, not score. But Wemby's got shooters. You know what him and Shea got? They both got shooters that can knock down and help them through the quarters. But the fourth quarter, the crucial quarter is really the third quarter. But the fourth quarter, the execution quarter, it's a different game. And what I saw from game 1 in that game, the Western Conference Finals, it's on Peacock. I said that's more fun than the Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference is kind of trash because you got 2 mediocre teams in the East. I just not impressed. Not even the Cavs or the Knicks. The Cavs, they choked that game away. The Knicks did their thing. I don't fuck with the Knicks like that. The Knicks, if I were you Knicks fans, don't get your hopes up. Win the series. I don't want to hear nothing if the Cavs beat y'all in, I don't want to say they beat y'all in 2 games, but if they do, because the officials, you can't trust them. They saved you last night, even though they was trying to save the Cavs. It don't matter because they both screwed my Pistons out of the Western Conference. But I just found out what Carcino said in game 5 when we was about to beat the Cavs, and I think it was in Detroit. I think people had a problem with Amazon Prime hosting games and all these apps like Peacock and ESPN. This has nothing to do with gambling. Yeah, prop bets is one thing, but the Pistons want their own fucking cable network, so the real fans want to watch the games, right? Tom Gore did something. Now the NBA got pissed off, according to Casino was saying. They got pissed off about that. And then you know how you pissed off Adam Silver. Now look what happened. Boom. And that's why they put that trolling headline said Cavs and Knicks. So yeah, that's part of it. Part of it, it all started in Game 5, and that's been going on in the middle of the playoff games. So that's how it was politics behind that. They did not want to see Detroit and New York. That would have been a good series. Detroit would have stole Game 1, and that's what happens if you're a Cavs supporter. This is what happens with the Cavs. And James Harden was there to sabotage Detroit. But if this stuff happened with Tom Gore, I am not surprised. He owns the Pistons, and I think he was born in overseas in West Asia, so that's a whole nother story. But yeah, the Pistons, they had a great season. Not really mad because we had a terrific season. But one thing I love about Detroit is they're the future of the Eastern Conference to me personally. The Eastern Conference to me right now, the finals is mediocre. But they're doing it for the Knicks. You know, the Knicks got to do it this year. If they don't do it this year, it's over. Dolan said he's gonna blow the whole thing up. He'll blow the front office and get rid of them players. So they're trying to get Giannis or LeBron. Now, Knicks fans said, we don't want LeBron. It don't matter about you. No, his fans, LeBron fans are equivalent to Kobe fans because they act weird online and try to dick ride this man. And look what happened. He destroyed the Lakers. Now he's going to try to destroy another large market franchise. LeBron's not going to Cleveland, so I won't hear that bullshit. Anybody's watching, he's not going to Believe Land. He don't need Cleveland. He's not taking a veteran minimum. Only stupid people believe that. He is not taking a veteran minimum. I'm trying to tell you, this dude's a narcissist. He wants to stay in the West Coast or destroy another team, and he's not going to that damn Vegas team. They're not going to let him. They're not fucking with him either. So get that out of your fucking head. LeBron's a clown. And shouts out to Basketball Beef Fast on Rumble. He says something's going to happen to LeBron. They ain't going to mess with his family. I believe he's going to sacrifice himself. So we already know. Y'all can take what you take that. You heard it here first on YouTube. He's not going to be around. So we already know how his career is. Yes, the steroid allegations, they'll eventually come out. He ain't retiring. The only way he's going to retire is something happens to him. And you already know. So I'm not getting into it. Everybody's turning against him. And if you look at these playoffs, I won't be surprised if OKC repeats. I won't be surprised. Now, they want the Knicks to win the championship, but if they face OKC, they're not winning. Because they got the whistles. They got the refs. They got the prop bets. It's not right. I know. See, they want to face the Spurs. The Knicks want to face the Spurs so bad since 90. They want that revenge. I don't think that's going to happen because injuries play a part in the game. If the Knicks players are injured, they're going to give it to Wemby because shouts out to Motor City Talks. He said something about Popovich's wife passed away. That's how they got Wemby. Now, Wemby could have went to any team. But be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Nobody wants to see him win a championship, the young man from France. And if he does, do not be surprised. I try to tell you, they want these foreign players. The NBA just want foreign players to dominate the league, and they don't want black players to thrive. I've been saying this for years and years, and I said this is the standard now. They don't want to see American players thrive. Y'all got to understand, man. This is really bad, you know. Yeah, it's crazy. But it goes to show you, man, like the NBA playoffs, it's very interesting. So you got average Eastern Conference teams, which is interesting. So they want to see this type of, and I think the next year is going to be like this too. If the Knicks don't win this year or they don't win the championship, I can see them come back in the playoffs with this roster if they don't get LeBron or anybody. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm just saying if they don't get anybody, I believe that this team is desperate. I hope they don't get Giannis because Giannis is injury prone. If I was Knicks, I wouldn't touch him. See, you got to develop your young talent. You know what I mean? You got to develop that. See, if you don't develop that, you just out here just looking foolish. But we'll see. But yeah, they won game one. Yeah, they beat James Hardhead and them bum ass Cavaliers. And to me personally, I got Knicks winning the series. But here's the thing: hey, if Cavs steal a game or two, at least it may go 5 or 6. I'll say 5 or 6. I don't think it's gonna go 7. But hey, the NBA extender wants it to go 7. Them prop bets is real, and people said they got Magnum balls. Well, they got magnets everywhere, so it's been around since 2021. That's crazy. But they try and be like WWE, but in the regular season, but in the playoffs, it's kind of fishy. It's kind of fishy. Probably most of them damn championships, probably. Damn. So the Milwaukee from 2021, the Warriors 2022. It's wild, man. Hey, that's the new NBA. Ever since LeBron won that bubble championship, they had to change some things. Now prop bets and gambling has been legal. It's everybody's losing money. It's gonna be very interesting next year because Indiana's supposed to be good next year. The Pacers, the East is not wide open. No, it's competitive. The West is wide open. They try to say the West is tough, and I don't buy that argument. It's weak because it's trash. It's only OKC, San Antonio, and a few others like Minnesota, and that's it. Denver is about to be done. Lakers could be in contention, but I don't see them thriving either. So yeah, it is what it is, man. He says, well, I'm just saying, like, people just get emotional about the games, but it's crazy. But yeah, the NBA playoffs has been kind of strange, man. So enough of me talk about my Pistons and everything else. I like a lot of teams in the NBA. It ain't just them. It's a list of teams I like. But the Pistons, they have great. I'll be curious who they're gonna get this offseason. Man, it's gonna be some interesting picks offseason. The offseason, wow, we'll explain that in this current event talk and daily hump dump. And it's just, we're just keeping it what it is. But again, I just feel that this stuff is very tamed. You know what I mean? So I just look at it like this. It's been a lot going on. The internet is just kind of dry. It's not really much saying, besides the playoffs and all that. It's not really much going on. And you got people talking about the celebrity gossip shit. Now, Chud the Builder, or should I say, Chud's an idiot, by the way, harassing people, he get what he get. And it's a lot of things going around. But you gotta understand, the NBA has to have a culture distraction, in sports and everything else. That's all I talk about, really. But current events, man, like what's going on in the war over there. I'm not gonna get into it. That shit is wild. Okay, that shit that you see over there. They wrap it up. It's kind of wild. You know, I just don't see it like, playing out like that. Yeah, but you got delusional people online believing everything with the government and the media. You see it everywhere. I mean, casuals. We're going to have a subject today. Yeah, we talked about the playoffs and everything, Wimby's little big night, but you got casuals everywhere, delusional as hell, like slaves, right? And I'm saying this like they are so lame as hell, and they're the type of people buy into the BS. But you know what's so funny? The internet's like that in a strange in a nutshell. You just got everybody buying into the bullshit after bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. And it's just so wild to me. Like, you got people like that. And that's just what it is. And then you see what's going on. It's just crazy. And then when you look at the casuals saying outrageous stuff, like you see it everywhere. Yeah, in politics and everything else. But sir always talk about this. Me talking about he's like, y'all always talking about, yeah, but casuals run everything. They want to dictate everything and try to tell you what it is, but in reality, none of that stuff is true. Most people love narratives. And that's why Disney got y'all effed up, man. Y'all fucked up over here. And when you look at what's going on, like me, what's going on, like about the news, it's just, it is what it is. Hey, what's going on? Salute. But I'm just looking at it like this. Like, I was paying attention to playoffs and I said, man, online, man, people have the weirdest topics. Hell, they was talking about Chud. Let's talk about Chud for a minute. And Billy, I think that dude's a clown anyway, harassing, so-called black people all the time. And then I think he got in jail for attempted murder. Like that dude is just wild. I knew he was washed. I knew he was a plant. And then shouts out to the other dude, Street News, Urban News. He said something about Charleston White, C Dub, right? CW. That's why I call him. This dude is a fucking plant. If y'all don't know by now, this dude's a bum. One thing he said, if he would have stuck to the stuff he said, and yeah, he's a rat. Yeah, he did the street shit. He's a soft ass, you know what? But he's a fucking clown. I don't take him serious. He's food wherever he goes. But he's probably a Fed puppet. Don't be surprised. But he's food. The Feds don't fuck with him like that. They'll have his head knocked off. The shit that he knows. But the internet game, he's done. If he ain't with them type of people, they gonna turn on him eventually. If you say something dumb, they just gonna let him get sacrificed. That's a whole nother low level niggas on there. He should have just left the game and live off his money. Got a TV show, especially online. They would put him in rotation in the panels. That's what he needs to be on. He don't need to be dealing with urban and everybody them just banished him everywhere, no matter what color, black, white, whatever. He's a fraud, bro. He's a plant. He's trying to do this internet plant shit with the media and the podcast because he ain't got no talent. He's just a bum. And what proves me about him is he come from Facebook, and that's how he got his start and everything else. Yeah, he did community work, but he's a fraud. Charleston may start out good, but he's a fraud. He was a plant the whole time. You look at his case, how he got out early. And this dude's, mind you, he's from Fort Worth. He's not from Dallas. It's not Dallas. It's not the same. Yeah, you got Dallas Fort Worth on the line, but really he's from Fort Worth, Texas. They don't rock with him like that. He can't even go back home. That's why he lives down here in Georgia and Atlanta. See, I used to live in Atlanta for decades in the city, but dude's a fraud, bro. Ain't nobody fucking with him. He deals with whores and stuff. He said he used to be married, got 2 kids. That's true, but nigga, you deal with hoes on the low. You cheating on your wife. You're a clown. Nobody listen to you. He's funny, but he's an idiot. He's trying to get paid and have big bucks. This is our future. We gotta help black people. I said, dude, you're a C word. You had a Confederate flag during when old boy won the White House. He's been a fraud. He's been a fraud before all this. He lived on the internet. Then he tried to be red pill. He said, I used to think like you guys. Yeah, what happened? You wasn't red pill in the first place. You was blue pill. Red pill means ongoing culture. Still here. It's just the manosphere. Shouts out the legendary Wacky World of O. He said, it died. Yeah, it died years ago. Everybody knew that. Hell, Sarge is teaching red pill stuff. Sergeant Wood Pete, and he trying to say a lot of that other stuff died. So you got to keep in mind what's going on. Like people talking about these content creators, it's trash, and they say, "Oh, you can't talk about no LeBron content." Well, everybody's gonna talk about LeBron. He's the hottest thing right now. But keep in mind, if something happened to him, you heard it here first. He up out of here. You know what I'm saying? The league wants to promote international young stars, not only American young stars, but international too. So you see this playoffs with Wemby and fucking well actually V Dub, I call him V Dub, Victor Wembanyama and Shea Gilgis Alexander, SGA. These two are the standard now. And then of course Cade, you know, he got knocked out in the second round by the Cavs, and the Cavs got old stars. Yes, they have an old star with James Harden. But in reality, they want him to win the championship, not just Brunson and Cat. But what about Donovan and the Beard? The Knicks gonna have a hard time winning in Cleveland because they're good at home. Knicks will probably lose those 2 games. I said this will go 6, and then the Cavs probably have to steal another one and out the series. You know what I'm saying? We'll see that. But me personally, the Cavs will probably get swept in the finals, just like the Knicks with the OKC or the Spurs. It don't really matter. The West is taking it this year, like they did last year. Last year should have been Indiana's, but if that Achilles injury didn't happen to Tyrese Halliburton, that's a no go for OKC. They would have lost that series, and Indiana would have been the defending champs. They would have pieces. They would have Miles Turner, and the draft picks would be very different. So it's a whole nother side. Now Matherin went to the billionaire Steve Ballmer, the Microsoft guy, man. That's gonna be interesting. If they come around and get rid of Kawhi, they're going to the playoffs every year. If they get a superstar in LA, oh, the NBA love that. They don't care about the Lakers, but the Clippers, Ballmer, the billionaire that owns everybody's lives and money, shit. Everybody tries to, you ain't seen corruption yet. I'm telling you, Clippers, shit, I could see some adjustments. Now Kawhi can come to the Knicks, but you know how that goes. Yeah, I've been listening to people on podcasts and sports and stuff like that. You know, I've been listening to Carcino for Life. You know, he's a Detroit guy. You know, he's from Chicago, but which is crazy. But yeah, man, yeah, Pistons fans are everywhere. But when I look at this Knicks And Cavs, I mean, it's very interesting. I don't think it's an interesting Eastern Conference. Ain't nobody watching that shit, really. They really want to watch the Western Conference Finals. Nobody respects the East. That's when the narrative casuals, I call everybody hates on the East. Nobody likes the Eastern Conference. What they just saw. They love Detroit, but nobody wants to see the Knicks or the Cavs winning the championship. I'm just keeping it real. It's just, the refs got it in. And some of them wear SGA shoes, which is not a good, well, actually, it's a kind of a bad thing. It's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. The refs won't be the stars. But that's a damn shame. They're actually pushing a Canadian guy that won 2 back-to-back MVPs, even though he's black, he's in the Americas of the continents, right? But the French kid is a threat. Yes, he's got black American players on his team. It's just what Rasheed Wallace said about they didn't want to win Detroit 2 championships. If you listen to Underdog NBA, that's Sheed and Tyler. He broke it down. It's one of them over his, and he said something very valuable. And I've seen this video years ago when it came out when their podcast. He said they did not want Detroit to go back to back. And the year Tim Duncan, he said he never seen a team that had flags. Now, back in the day, it wasn't like that with foreign players in the 90s, but he never saw, and when he's played, that was American players. He had 4 American players, and everybody else was from their country, flags of their country. He saw this around 2005, around the mid 2000s, right? And the way he explained it, the United Nations, David Stern want the United Nations talking about the San Antonio Spurs to win a championship against the Pistons. Now, if you don't see that ain't corruption, I don't know what it is. But the way he explained, yeah, we knew David Stern won shit or Adams. So it's a repeat of history. So it's crazy, man. But that goes to show you that that's what these corporations do. They want to see who's going to be the best. It's really not anything. Yeah, people file lawsuits of parlays. Who gives a fuck about parlays? Stop gambling, period. They don't care nothing about you. They care about their little monies and their quarters they get from you. So I'm just looking at it like it's crazy. But that's what the league want. They want to see if you're going to be involved in it. So, and then what's going on online, man? People's just talking about C Dub and everybody else trying to build it. That shit's played out, man. Ain't nobody stunting them. I'm just not really into the nonsense lately. But I've realized that, people love casuals, man. The casuals get it done. They sell tickets, but you got these casual fans pretending to be Knicks fans is hilarious. And Knicks ain't done shit since '73. It would be cool if they did win a championship. Yeah, even if they was carried by the league, they have to beat the Spurs. But me personally, I just don't want to see no disaster on their face. They'll start crying if they lose and get robbed. Well, we told you so, nigga. Hell, you should have known that everybody's using magnets. I don't want to hear no crying for no Knicks fans. These Knicks supremacists out there on seeing no shit. I don't want to hear nothing. I'm just gonna laugh. I told you so, nigga. Hell, it's gonna be like Indiana. We'll see, because this is a different NBA. This is a new what they're into, but they gotta understand that they don't care nothing about you. They're using you for a deal, and they're gonna carry you. Now, there's something interesting that dude said Parks on the last year on Carcino when they talk about the Knicks game and all that. He said, my team was carried. A Celtic fan out of all people, black Celtic fan at that. That's rare from a Celtic fan to say they was carried in 2024. And I believe him. I'm glad he admit that. It's rare. It's rare. But most of them say, we weren't carried. We run it very square. That's how they think, right? But you're gonna come to find out they was carried. So that 2024 championship could have been Dallas. It could be anybody's in these, right? But no, Boston goes to the playoffs every year. See, they won one in '08, and now they won one in 2024. They could have. See, they was really pushing Brown and Tatum, and the Celtics could come out the East. That's who I got. If Detroit don't go further, But Detroit proved me wrong when they won a game seven in Orlando, which is a great feat, by the way. And yes, they lost to the Cavs to a game seven, which is sad. They've been tired. And they could have had the game. And the officiating was terrible in that game. It was terrible in that series. I'll tell you that right now. And they went overtime getting that money. So officiating is going to be terrible all the way through the championship round and the conference championships and the championship round because people ain't gonna watch it. But I just like to observe the game, see what people looking at. I just laugh at these casuals because it's pro casual. Most sports are pro casuals. I try to tell people that casuals have ruined everything. Like we got in the White House, bunch of idiot casuals ruin everything. So it's like this is talking about casuals in general. The casual fool, the fake blue collar worker, is being propped up to be a star, which is insanity. This is probably the worst we've seen in human history and probably decades. This is why people hate casuals now. But you start understanding what's going on and what's happening, and the world is changing. So, like politics, everything else is like the blueprint of that. So yeah, you got a bunch of casuals. They think everything is clean and fair, but really it's not. You just gotta look at the big picture, what people are looking at. And that's just how it is. And I'm just looking at how this is done. And I just look at things from that angle, man. Like, when you look, you see what's going on. Yeah. Yeah. Sir hates corruption. Myself, talking about yours truly. He hates any corruption in anything, especially in sports and anything. But what you find out is part of the name of the game. You have to keep you watching, just like the wrestlers, and you see it all the time. So I look at this stuff and be like, all right, this is what we're dealing with. So I'm looking at this right now. So it's 2:30 something. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all about the time zone that the state of Georgia is gonna get. It's gonna be called the Atlantic time. They said I think I mentioned it last couple of streams. I'm not sure if I mentioned this to y'all. Um, it has to get passed by legislating government. If they ever do this, they want to get away from the Eastern time and call it Atlantic time. So we always have a daylight saving time culture. They won't change the clocks back and all that. That's what they try and keep it like this, and they're gonna call it the Atlantic time. But that has to be through Congress and legislation if they want to do some things like that about the daylight saving time thing. I think America's trying to get away from that. Most people want to get away from that. Because the divide of the person in the White House, I ain't mentioned this saying he's a fucking clown. He don't need no credibility. is dividing the country more and more. So some people say it's a great. No, it's not. It's dividing. People are angry. They're mad at certain things, and like you see in sports, and everything is trickled down. It is what it is. And I'm just looking at the comments in another person's chat. Salute to them, but yeah, they just prove my point. But when you have a lot of people, they just go crazy. Yeah, the world's crazy and entitled right now. So it is what it is. Last time I did streams like this and talking about random stuff, and it's probably current events, is like we're in a subject and this time of the year, it's like it's really slow in the spring and the tail end of late spring and May, and now you know what's up. It is what it is. It's crazy. But what do you expect from a bunch of fools that pay attention to fools? Now, the Dr. Brian, I thought that was hilarious. They said she was a fraud. They said she was a lesbian. I ain't gonna say alleged, but you know, a lot of people accuse her of being a lesbian. But then it says she's not even a real doctor, which is insane. And she probably wasn't one to begin with. And I thought it was interesting that she they caught her being a fraud, which is insane. But you know, when I think about that situation, I'm gonna talk about that in a few minutes. I knew something was up about her until she said some dumb stuff. But after that, I just realized, oh, she's terrible. You know, she's out of there. You know, she lying to people. Probably ain't got no patience. Just want to be on the podcast talking about sexual things and things like that. I don't even watch people like that fraudulent. Like they're saying, "Oh, I'm a doctor. I'm a therapist," lying to the people, lying like shit. Like, man, bitch, you don't get on. Get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah, I'm starting to believe Wall Street owns everything in New York. Probably the damn Madison Square Garden. I wouldn't be surprised by the ticket prices. I ain't paying for that shit. But you got delusional people. But speaking of current events, it escapes me. You got this hypocrite, right, from Albert Preach, right? Preach is all right, but the hypocrite Albert, that motherfucker, right? He said, um, I don't want to take care of my kids. He's a coward. And then no one to diss the red pill space. This dude right here, I had unsubscribed with a bunch of fuck niggas that was dick riding Albert, right? These no accountability bitch ass niggas. I'm glad I did because you're gonna side with a man that don't want to take care of his kid. And he wanted kids, by the way, and told those females to get an abortion. Yeah, they both effed up, but you did the same pattern. You didn't wrap it up, dude. Once you make that mistake and get her pregnant, it's over. This dude, the hypocrite, claims he's holier than you know what, and so I won't say holier than thou, but say I'm Mr. Perfect on the internet. Dude, you're a fraud. You got exposed. These hoes exposed. I don't care if she was Asian or whatever. It's just crazy. Preach is straight, but this album, motherfucker, I can't stand hypocrites like him. I'm glad he's getting aired out because, dude, you cannot say one thing. And I know he understands the red pill space, but he's a fraud. He's a fraud. Like Preach could do better. I know that's his boy. Shouts to Preach. He's cool. But that fucking album, man. The only thing I hate about him, you're a hypocrite, bro. Like they caught you. It's over. Once it's on the internet and you do something in private, and it's not like I get it, but he didn't want no kids, but he's a clown. He wanted kids because if he says relationship stuff, he's a hypocrite. The reason I hate him, why I'm throwing at him, like I should have said this like a few years ago. It's just like it's crazy. Now, was she wrong? The girl, yeah, I've read some of her stuff, and then shouts out to Stevie Knight breaking it down. I was listening to other people, and it's about the situation. What's his name? LTTV or something like that. He said it. He's from Canada. That dude's a fraud, bro. I don't care for hypocrites like that. I just look at them like, yeah, they two different people. Alvin Priest, two different people. But this fuck dude, this African, is a question mark. I can't fuck with him. Nah, dude, you have all these problems. He should wrap it up. If you're gonna have two women that did two abortions for you, y'all need to see this from Steve Knight or whoever source. He's done. They dragged him in the mud for being a hypocrite. He get what he deserved. Like I said, Priest got to defend. He got to eat this. But the internet's undefeated. They're gonna find your dirty little secrets. You got to be careful. So for me, I've never been in that situation, not in his shoes. Now I know people I used to work with that was similar to dude, and he claimed he this and that. See, one thing about me about this internet shit, leave your personal shit. Don't be Mr. Accountability on the internet. I'll tell you a secret. Don't do it. I tried that shit years ago with my old channel, offline, all that. That shit don't work on the internet. I learned this shit for decades, and I'm telling you right now, if I told him, dude, you fucked up, you got caught. But it is what it is. But and no, I'm saying he's a fraud for real, for real. Like everything he tried to say. Now he may not be a fraud to nobody else. To me, he's a fraud. Like I just can't take him serious. Like, look, I've read his side, read the girl's side. Now, was she wrong on a lot of things? Absolutely, absolutely. They both on some bullshit. But when you got another girl pregnant, now that girl ain't lying either. I don't know her name. And Stevie should never brought that video out. Like that's damning. And then other people kept talking about. I said, this dude, he got to. Now he trying to say this is not cloud. No, once it's on the internet, man, you're done. Now I'm not saying Preach is. I think Preach is feral. But this dude, I'm like Alba. Like if I was Alba, I wouldn't even say nothing because all it does, he could have just did this shit. And I think she did it for attention. For one thing, I was looking at her, I was like, this girl, I now she didn't explain everything what she did. It's crazy. I don't know their personal life like that. It's just like it's crazy. But when I look at her, I was like, she's telling some truths, but I say, why did he lay down with that? Now he could have did better, but knowing him, because where they from in Canada, like she was from America. I don't know what part. But when I saw Stevie going at this dude, I said, this dude is crazy. Albert should just, I wouldn't respond. If I was in that situation, man, I wouldn't respond. They got you. See, one thing, try to be Mr. Accountability on the internet. And that will get you, it'll bite you in the ass, man. Like, especially if you have millions of subscribers and he probably gained some and lost some. It don't matter. I know he's not hurting, but still, if you're a public figure now you should never go on podcast or no jumper because they're gonna ask that damn question. They're gonna put over your head. They just looking like it's crazy. It's just what it is. No, I don't believe him. He's a fraud. Like he has fraud tendencies. Now he may sound genuine, but dude's a fraud. Like when you got two girls pregnant and they said they aborted, I can't respect that. No, he lose his man card. Now you could diss the red pill space and don't like what these boys saying, the simps, but they're not really red pill. So he's arguing with blue pill men that's in these fake dating cultures. See, they hijacked the space. I want to teach you something. They hijacked this space for years. Albert doesn't know nothing about the red pill space. Now he's getting his work from these uh the simps that we got dealing these so-called red pill spaces. Um he's getting the backlash. But the girl with the black hair, and then there's another girl talking about him. They got him pregnant. They was pregnant, even though they probably aborted. We don't know if they aborted him or not. Now I don't know if they have the kid or not because we don't know. But I do know he got them two pregnant. How can you diss them guys and you're doing the same thing? You know what I mean? That's why I can't take him serious. Now I understand where he's coming from. You know, he did hold himself accountable. But what I don't like is he tries to say, I ain't dude, you are, because you can't talk about the guys in the red pill space, so-called red pill space. They're not even red pill. They're just like you. And this is what's the problem with these dudes. Like when you get online, when you have 1 million subscribers or more than me, I have to question that, bro. Like, dude, you can't just be talking about relationship advice and you're bad at it. And then, yeah, she's criticizing about a lot of stuff. You know, a lot of stuff could be true, and a lot of stuff he's saying about her is probably true. But they both own up to their problems. But the thing is, she recorded him. See, the one thing is, when you talk to people offline and they record and they put it on the internet, it's damning, bro. And especially if you're a popular person on the internet, you got to be careful because that always ends up in a clip bag. It's crazy. Yeah, these females are crazy, but what I'm looking at it is like two of them got pregnant, and I hope there's not another one that he's out there doing it. But me personally, I looked at both sides. I didn't have to look at the string because I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna talk in circles and try to say he didn't do it. Like, dude, you did that shit. And I'm subscribed to their page, but dude, I don't have to listen to that. It's a waste of time, bro. Like you explain, so you can't explain to the internet people, and then she come out, drew a lot of receipts. Now, some of it is true, and some she can it's a little tampered with or whatever. But me personally, for her side, I'm not gonna side with her. I can't trust her because she shouldn't have laid down with Albert. He shouldn't have laid down with her. And that other girl, that white girl, man, that's tough. I can't deal with that. You know, what she probably said the same thing the girl say it's kind of dicey. It's 50-50. I can't side with either one or the girl, but the white girl wasn't lying about him. So he can appear one thing online, offline, yeah. But here's the thing: he let those females record him. That's the worst thing as a man. Like if I was in his position, I wouldn't let him record me. I wouldn't. And yeah, he say he ready to be a father, but don't play the abortion tactics. Now, did they want to get abortion? Like the first girl probably did, even though she had feelings and then changed her mind. See, these females that he's dealing with, they say they want it, but he has to understand they're gonna change their mind, bro. They're gonna do what the hell they're gonna do. No, it was not. It was not okay what she did, but I have to give her a little sympathy. I ain't gonna give her all the sympathy, but the downside with her was why you have to air them out. She could have aired them out probably 3 months ago. You know, they said they had it 5 months. I was looking at LTVs and I saw his and I saw everybody's reactions to it, his reaction on someone else's channel. And I was looking at it, I was like, what is Albert doing? And they was destroying this dude. Now, did he deserved it? I would say yes. I mean, when you playing with fire with these fake red pillars, if I was Albert dude, you're going to lose that battle. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got your fans over there, but that don't fall for it. If something happens to him, I ain't gonna say it's nothing gonna happen to him, but I'm saying he has to be careful. If I was him, I'd get a security team, bro. Because that girl is just she's on his head, and I don't even find her on YouTube like that. I think she's doing interviews, trying to, a lot of people try to say she's blackmailing. I don't think this is blackmail. I think this is personal. It looks blackmail, but it's personal. It's really she trying to air this dude out, like But it's not even just her. It's that other girl, that white girl. Say he did the same thing. I said, damn. See, that's the skeletons. and he's serious about it. Now he say, "I live in a private life." I would say, "I live in a private life." Like, okay, nigga, but dude, you don't let a female record you like that. They was gonna record. Both of them was gonna record. So y'all think that they ain't gonna record? Now I know he was recording to get back, the court case. We'll see. Now, if they did abort those babies, man, it's a shame. I don't agree with what they did. No, I don't agree with them what they did at all. But they own up to it. But they never dealing with Alba again. And he did himself disservice. And that's the only downside with him. Now, a lot of people say he wasn't a hypocrite. And he was. He always preaches accountability. See, I pay attention to what he says. I pay attention to his actions, but now they airing you out with information, and then I know he has evidence too. It's probably the same thing, but I'm not gonna watch his video for 2 hours to listen to what he say, because that's a mix between how he felt about it, and she may come around and say something similar. They both stories match. And shouts out to the young YouTubers. I forget they was Latino. There's some white boy they had on his stream. I saw. He said, of course he's gonna pay child support if the baby's alive. We don't know if the baby's alive on the first girl. Now the second girl, yeah, that was aborted. So I'm just explaining why. And I was thinking about that. I forgot about that in that stream because that's what I saw from his their platforms. But I was listening to Stevie Knight. He was going in, interview the girl. I was watching, see what's going on, and that girl act like she didn't want to say the whole story. But what I got from her was, well, she shouldn't have dealt with Albert, for one. Two, same to him, he shouldn't have dealt with it either. So both of them are wrong. I'm not saying neither side is right. My issue with Albert is he pretends I'm 100% factual. Dude, no, you're not. On the internet, no one cares. You got to take it from me. I research all the time, but see, when you're doing relationship topics, be careful, because especially if you're in the spot, especially if you're black, especially if you're a man, and especially if you try to be genuine with people, and then you say you're a comedian, you got to be careful too. Comedians and relationship don't mix in jokes. And I'll tell you a secret. A lot of those dudes get exposed on YouTube. Now, you can do it for stand-up, it's cool, but when you're on YouTube and you're dealing with these low-level average, females or women, and they have feelings and they want the baby and all this stuff, yeah, y'all enjoying each other, whatever, it's a wrap, bro. Like, they gonna know who you are. You're like a superstar trying to be something. But me personally, Preach is cool. I don't think he's bad. It's just his partner, man. Albert needs to just chill. Like, he tried to tell him chill. Like, I watch him when he talk about different topics, not this shit. But when that girl leaked that information with Stevie trying to get his get back from Albert about that debate about that boy. No one cares. That was a distraction. Stevie was defending the golden ticket, what we call him, Charlie Kirk. Who cares? That shit passed and Trump failed that. Okay? No one cares. That's what that whole thing was about. And then dude took it somewhere else, and he was wrong on a lot of debates too. See, it reminds me of that Destiny shit. That's what it reminds me of. And I hope Albert doesn't fall in that trap. That's what they're trying to get him on. So you got every content creator is on his head about the girl, what she said about the abortion and things like that. And then the other girl on Stevie, I think the other girl was showing a video of her, the white girl, I don't know her name. That right there is damning. I let him slide on the first one, but the second one, nah. You got to answer that, bro. Like, that right there, he can't. It's hard to come back from. That's hard to come, especially got 2 million subscribers. Yeah, he make mistakes, but he's getting that money off of Fresh and Fit. Not Fresh, but Myron. He's got money off of that. He said that on his own channel. And I pay attention to what they say in their actions. Like, y'all starting to say he didn't. No, that dude did that shit. No one cares about Albert no more after that. I think Preach is funny and everything, but Albert, man, he should just chill and leave that alone, because that girl, she's airing him out, even though she's partially right. I ain't gonna say she's all the way wrong either. So they both stories match. But that other girl, that second girl that Stevie had, was damning. That's foul. I get what Stevie's trying to do. I know he's trying to do. He's trying to get his get back. And LTTV, he was talking about Albert thing. I said, man, this shit is wild. Let me see if that's going on. Cause I got it in the subscription thing, what was going on. So when I looked at it, I was like, I mean to talk about this like was it weeks ago or whatever? And they was talking about him. I said, what the hell he done now? And I said to myself, I thought he was, most people thought he was genuine. But that girl saying that stuff about him about the baby, he wanted the baby too. And I understand his frustration. He was mad, but the thing is, dude, if they got you on shit, they got you on shit, bro. Like, you got to defend yourself, and he's defending himself now hard. It reminds me of that Destiny situation. That's what happened to him. Something similar like that with the kids and all that. That's what happens when you try to be popular on this shit on YouTube. That's why I never monetize, because shit like this can happen to you. And take it from me, I've seen people that got destroyed by this. So he'll bounce back. I'll say it like this: if he wants to be entertained, he'll probably bounce back. But me personally, that's damning, bro. Like they gonna harass you in the live streams. If he's ever in those circles, if I was dude, I wouldn't say nothing about the abortion thing ever again, because they gonna put that on your head, bro. Like that's the first thing these fools will do in these weird spaces. They understand that if he say anything, they got him. So Albert better be careful. Now they call them the Alba Files. Now I got this from LTTV. He was talking about him, Saint the Sitter. I think he interviewed a girl. I haven't seen that. I got to see more of that. But this girl's been all over, all over. Now the I'm pregnant part, yeah, this is days old. And they've been on his head forever. I said, where the Albert hate come from? Well, that girl came out with some receipts. He did too at the end. He had a long live stream. I'm not gonna look at that because I know how he does. He tries to get in character, but it's kind of hard. He act like he don't want to get in character because he got exposed. He's going through it. He's going through it, and rightfully so. But you got to be careful when you're on this internet shit. These hoes will air you out for everything. Now, do I believe everything's still? Hell no. I just say her information was valid. Now, she recorded. If he did do that, that's the one thing you don't give them, that type of information. They will destroy you. They will destroy you, especially on this site, YouTube. YouTube is one of them sites. If you try to be famous on here, do not. Yeah, it's in the public square. Yeah. 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 Beef and Brock. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's sad. Now Al tried to defend himself on one of them streams that LTV said he was trying to talk way through it. His information matches hers, and he wanted the baby. And at the time, yeah, they both were fucked up. I said their relationship, they should have got together in the first place, but they had some drinks, probably party. He's from Canada, Montreal. He's not really from Canada. He's from Africa, and he messed one of them things. She came out, and yeah, she probably loved him. Love at 5 months, that's crazy. And then had a baby or whatever. That's crazy. And he tried to say he couldn't have kids. They told you a lie, Albert. No, you was probably on drugs. and mess with, he said it was medication. It's still illegal drugs if it's prescribed. He has a problem down there. So he's up the north to 40. He ought to know that. And there was another YouTuber, small YouTuber, explained to him, no, once you bust a semen inside a woman's vagina, it's over. And if she's probably, I won't say she's sexually active. I'm saying no matter if she's active or not, if she has good cells in her body and she let you have kids, that's a second chance in life. No, they both stories match. I got that from another YouTuber. They match. Everybody try to say it don't match. No, it matched. It matched because one, he tried to lie and trying to say it didn't match. No, it matched because y'all both had, and she had the recordings of his call. When I heard what he said on that phone call, she recorded him, even though he didn't know he was getting recorded. But dude, you should know that when another person records you, I don't care if she's a male or female, it's over for you. And if you say something damning, they're gonna come and throw that shit at you. Y'all want to defend this dude because he's a fraud, bro. He's been a hypocrite. He's one of them dudes that I met in high school that claim I'm always, dude, you ain't shit. You just got caught on the internet. He's just mad because two females. Try to air him out. The other one, she fucked him, and they had a kid, and he's done this before. He has a pattern. See, this is what happens when you have a digital footprint, and this is what happens when you get caught online and they air you out. And that's the damn. And this is why I'm not a public figure like this. If I was like him, it would have been over. You know what I'm saying? But see, this is mild. It's not getting to the news. This is this is current event YouTube shit. You know what I mean? Imagine him getting deals, and they probably get some deals. But this right here, next thing you know, Trevor will ask him, "What about that other girl?" Y'all gotta think about that. That other girl talking shit. I'm not talking about the one with the dark hair. The other one. Oh man. Now I know he's trying to bounce back off of this shit, and I think he's rebounding. He's learning not to trust nobody no more. He's probably locking his door. He said, "I can't trust these old now." I say, "Maybe these so-called red pill dudes are right." You know, he try to say we ain't right. No, some of the true ones know we're right. We just don't deal with them at all because we know we have our little issues and whatever. So yeah, he's not perfect. But dude, you just got aired out by one of these hoes, and I had to say this to myself. I'm just speaking for me, for what I see. Now he could say he right all the time, but dude, you wrong on this one. No, like when she had that abortion and she wanted that kid, and she tried to change her mind. I don't know if she had the kid or not. The dark hair one, I don't care for her name. I forgot her name, but you know that one and the other one. It's a pattern. But if I was Albert, bro, wrap that shit up, bro. Yeah, you made that mistake, but I'm older than he is. He ought to know if you got millions of subscribers. I don't care if y'all been watching out. No, y'all don't know. Y'all know him from the internet. Y'all don't know him like I know his type, his people type. He's a narcissistic type person. He plays this utilitarian game and try to play tricks on your head. You got to understand people like him that be on the camera a lot before they got proper microphones like me and better than everybody else. He has to understand they don't care. Especially you got things like that talking shit through your friends, and yeah, she was harassing what he was too. So you play that game, she could say anything in court. Now they should side with him, but if he's in American court, he's done. I mean, if I was him, you going to pay that child support. If that kid's out there. I don't know if the kid's out there or not. I don't know if she confirmed that because she don't even say much. All she got is like stuff that from what I've seen, you know. But that other girl, Stevie, that's damning, bro. Like that's foul what he did. And I was looking at that. I say, why is he bringing the other girl? So I get it. I get his viewpoint and I get the girl's viewpoint. But I'm saying for this, he should not be online getting exposed like that. But this girl came out and felt some type of way. You know, she was mad, and you know, he had that little situation. And I'm not siding with neither side. I'm just saying they're both wrong. It's just what I'm saying is he shouldn't got recorded like that. If I was in his position, I would ask her, "Do you record me?" We end the conversation in the phone call. Then she would have got aired out by another way. But here's the thing: she had the chess move. Now, did she checkmate him on some issues? Yeah. Did he checkmate? Yeah. So they was fighting. So they got issues. If he had a kid, he would be saying like this. Now she'd want to call it off. You know, I was listening to that. Yeah, you know, she admitted on her side she wasn't wrong on that, and he wasn't wrong either. But here's what he fucked up is you don't know what she's capable of. And he pushed her. So that's one thing you don't do when you're in a relationship. See, last time I was in a relationship like that, I cut that person off immediately. One thing you don't ever press the female's buttons. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. Because what they're gonna do, and her type, you know, she's kind of off in the head probably, but I don't think she's that crazy. I think she's a little off. But what she's saying is she sound convinced she really loved this dude. But then come to find out that girl that told her not to reveal her name to say, look, he did this to me too. So I'm saying, and I'm not saying her. Y'all stuck on the girl in the dark hair. I'm talking about the other girl. That's what makes him a hypocrite right there. Not what you're saying. See, y'all fans. I'm saying the other girl. See, y'all didn't see that part. Y'all gotta actually see him quit being biased. He don't care nothing about y'all. He's gonna be all right. He a man. Yeah, he's hurting about the abortion aspect, but he probably went through this before. That's why he was laughing and giggling on that. I can't listen to that shit. I was like, no, bro, you got exposed again. And then we hope there's not another third girl. I'm tired of talking about that situation because it's irrelevant. Because dude got exposed. He's mad. And he's really mad about this situation. Exposed. This is what happens when you're online, bro. Like, welcome to the internet. Welcome to big YouTube. If you got more million subscribers than me, fine. But dude, you got exposed by a chick that's a nobody. She may be somebody now because she's getting, she ain't getting no famous. I didn't know. She just the person that you'll see on the internet, and they're gonna ask her interview questions. I hope she ain't on no what's that podcast, whatever podcast. I hope she don't go on there and air him out. I hope she don't go on there. I don't even like these podcasts nowadays. If these females that he messed with, right, even though he claims he's innocent, whatever, if they get on those shows and they airing out his shit, it's crazy. But that's what happens when you're a big content creator. People in the chat, you gotta understand, when you're this big, be careful who you deal with offline, because they're gonna come down to bite you. Now, O'Shea, I don't fuck with him. He talked about this. That's a damn shame. But that goes to show you that, and people. There's people that love Alvin Preach. It's people's fans of him, but they have to say, I don't subscribe to other dudes. Like, no, y'all dick ride, man. He don't care nothing about y'all like that. He knows exactly what he did. He ain't perfect. He tried to claim he's perfect. That's the one thing I hate about him. I didn't care for him. And I studied him. I said, oh, then when he gets aired out, he gets emotional. It's okay to be emotional about it, but don't get super emotional about it. You knew you did was wrong, but you got to take up. He took it on the chin. But he has to understand, next time, don't deal with people like girl with the dark hair and the one that's in Europe, what she said, Switzerland. They're gonna air you out, bro. Like they're not different. When people go overseas, y'all think they all the same. They have that mentality. They gonna try to get over on you, especially if you're American or the Americas. Like, no matter where you're from, they do this all the time. It's a stereotype. It ain't true. There's some decent ones over here, but I'm just saying, men and women. But I'm just saying, you got some people that's on the take. But if you have 2 million subscribers or more, right? Y'all niggas got to stop fucking these hoes. When y'all get this money, leave that whole shit alone. Quit talking about relationships. That's how they get you. And see, the so-called fake red pills thrive off this shit. See, Albert, he's a comedian. These guys are comedians. Okay, they're decent. I ain't saying they're the best, but if I was him, I would have left this whole shit alone. This is what happened to Corey. Let me tell you something about Corey Holcomb. That's what happened to him. He didn't really, a lot of people say he didn't push the girl. Yeah, he pushed the girl. I don't think he hit her. Ticket TV exaggerate that. I said, my nigga, Corey just pushed the girl. Now he got caught with some shit. See, y'all in the era where Trump done ruined everybody. See, this is the Trump era. Okay. If it was the Democrat era, this wouldn't have been non-existent. I'll tell you this right now. That girl and the other girl would have kept their mouth. So he would have paid them off and say, look, don't be airing me out like this. No, when you're in the Trump era, it's time to collect that paper. They don't play fair. And I remember the Bush era on YouTube, the early YouTube, because see, I didn't come in 06, I came in 07. Obama era was different. Oh, you got away with murder on here. And then afterwards he left, Trump came in and kind of ruined everything. So the Trump era, the first term was crazy. I told y'all about 2015. Everything changed on YouTube. And then he lost to Biden. That was decent. YouTube was decent. Everybody was on tippy toes on the pandemic stuff. And y'all seen the streams, the whole streams we did and all that. It was great. This era with Trump is crazy. Albert Preach and them guys, and I ain't saying just Preach. Preach is all right. He's innocent. But Albert with the 2 females, man, I can't mess with that. You know what I mean? Dude, even though he's fighting this shit, but we'll see. Now, he ain't going to dress the other girl. He ain't going to, because he knows if I dress one, there's going to be problems. Now, I know him and Stevie, they've been going out with this bullshit, fake political beef. It's not even a real beef. It's just some bullshit. It happens all the time. But now he's afraid to get on panels. I'm just talking about it, just 10 minutes with y'all. I just don't care. I just had to say that current evently. But yeah, Albert and Preach, they got to deal with that whole, this darting information. I'm not saying he's bad, but I'm just saying it's bad on him with the next girl coming out, and then LTV says something in another video. That's insane. You got to be careful with that because they gonna come after you with some bullshit. You gotta understand these females don't care. They want they get back too. So when I look at his situation, it's not looking good for him. Like, everybody's turning on him, O'Shea and all that. They thought they was cool. They're comedians. You gotta understand they're not perfect. But when you're in this arena of relationships on YouTube, be careful. They on your head forever, bro. Now he tried to say he don't care, and he shouldn't. He shouldn't. He shouldn't. But I'm saying for my advice to him as a content dude, don't put your personal shit. Don't talk to these hoes. They will air your shit out. Just leave the inner shit. Don't tell them what you do online. That's what I tell them. And that's the worst thing you do. You don't give them your page. You keep your shit away from them, even though they know you from the internet. But it's hard for him to date. But they're gonna come at him like that. But that's how I look at it, man. Like, I ain't got much else to talk about, but I just want to cue that in there. Like, dudes like that, man, you got to be careful, man. Like, if y'all watching, that's cool. I ain't mad, just be careful, man. Alba is one of them type peoples, and he thinks it's going to be, try to defend his innocence with these hoes out here. But, like, dude, you get caught up, bro. But YouTube's like that sometimes. Anybody can get caught up out here. Now, me, I ain't trying to be that type of famous on YouTube. Like, they don't like me because I say the real shit. I do information and stuff like that. My shit is like thorough. But when it comes to this dude, Alba, man, like if I was him, I wouldn't even talk to a girl like that. And he tried to call her crazy. No, you're crazy, sir. Because what happens is when you're that big, you got to be careful who you sleep around with, especially online, because the way the internet, the security stuff, and I tell man, Albert, you need guardian. Hell, she throwing malicious stuff at you, bro. I bet he's doing that now, trying to protect his phone and bank account. I said, dude, they on your head, bro. See, the internet don't forget. They can, they'll forget every now and then, but they ain't gonna forget what you did. They'll forgive you, but they ain't gonna forget what you did with that abortion stuff. People think that's it. Now, I don't agree in abortion. I'm not an abortion lover or anything. No, I don't agree what they say. I'm just saying for them females to air you out like that is crazy. That's insane. See, it gets lost because they see Alba as a big name on YouTube, but they're not. They don't want no fucking clout. No, you know what they want? They want money. They don't care about the clout or money. They want him to be punished or some shit, and him in a scandal. But it's not even a scandal. Like, no, he did it to himself. It's self-inflict. Yeah, he's cooked. I try to tell people that. Like, if you online being Mr. Accountability, Mr. Fundamentals, if I was out, I'd just get offline, man. Just chill for a few months and recover. He's done that, and I think what he needs to do is just leave these hoes alone because they go air them out again. Because see, this is a pattern I've seen. Now, one came out, the other came out. Yeah, 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 Leonard. Yeah, man, it's crazy. That's why I look at him side eyed. I look at him side eyed, like, dude. That's why I can't take him serious. And I'm kind of laughing at this. I said, man, you reap what you sow, man. I don't like the other dudes that he go after. That's cool. But he has to be careful. Make sure your closet is clean with no skeletons in it. That's what I'm saying about Alba. I don't give two shits about him. But he get what he get. I don't believe in these hoes. No, I don't believe in them. But they aired them out. It's crazy. Shouts out to everybody. Shouts out to Letitia. Shouts out to Leonard. It's been a decent stream. And yeah, I just want to talk about the playoffs and this situation with these spaces, man. These dudes trying to be, they thorough and all this other stuff. Like, dude, if you're going to do this, I know they do it full time. If you're going to do this and you be a star on YouTube, be careful. They're going to get you. So they're in that territory. Now they got to have security. And they try to tell you, you got to look up and down. All right, man. So with that, shalom to the people of Israel, until the Gentiles, until next time. And yes, I'll see y'all the Wednesday after, and y'all be let know with the stream. We're gonna talk about similar situation like this, not like this Albert thing. We ain't gonna talk about it because some people got emotional. I understand, but y'all fans of him. But I don't care for dude. It's a wrap for him. Like he should know that female didn't care. She wanted the attention. She got the internet attention. She don't want no clout. She just want attention, air out, want to be on interviews. I hope she's not on that whatever podcast. That's the worst thing a female go on. They go on these podcasts, airing your shit out. It's over, and they don't know who to believe. Now they should believe, dude, but it's not looking too good when you got two females airing you out. So with that, until next time, I'm signing off and I'm out.